What's up, everybody? My name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today's Thursday, January 15th. Now, in today's dog video, I want to talk about something that's absolutely amazing, and I want to congratulate everybody within the dog army, because the data I'm about to share with you reveals that dog is the top performer meme coin by fully diluted market capitalization. This is within the top blue chip meme coins, and dog has captured and has gained more than most of these meme coins, which is absolutely amazing. And obviously there's a lot of data that I want to share with you that this isn't the only bull run and bull rally that dog is going to experience, because if history does repeat in the same way that we've seen with other dog themed meme coins, then this is just the very beginning. And obviously I'm going to be sharing with you charting at the end of the video, because we do expect pullbacks whenever we do have major rallies. But let's address the pullback that's not just with dog, but with the entire meme coin market. So let's go ahead and smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X. Please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I'll never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email. So please be careful and invest safely. Guys and girls, let's get right into it. So dog right now is roughly around 150 million market cap, down 3.3% in the past 24 hours. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. This was kind of expected. Now let's look at Bitcoin's price. Bitcoin right now is roughly around 95,000. Now just yesterday, it was at 97,000. So usually when we see Bitcoin dominance or that Bitcoin doesn't drop as hard, we tend to see altcoins and meme coins drop a little bit harder. But this doesn't mean that the market is completely canceled. It just means that we could experience pullbacks whenever we see massive pumped rallies. Remember, Bitcoin was at roughly 89,000 just like over a week ago. Now it's at 95,000. Now, based on what we're seeing here by the CEO of CryptoQuant, an amazing analytics tool, just said that now there are big whale orders within Bitcoin. So retail isn't buying Bitcoin, it's mainly the whales. And this is the 1%. The 1% typically always buys when there is fear in the water and uncertainty, especially within the market. And that even goes for meme coins. And that's why you saw within the entire meme coin sector that things were pumping up a lot. But notice that the meme coin market sector right now is in red. Now, what I want to pay attention to, as I always brought up before, is the 7-day time frame. Now, you can pay attention to the 24-hour time frame because many things are down. You have Trump down almost close to 4%. Bonk down 6%, Pudgy Penguins down 5%, SPX 6900 down 8%. Now, everything is in red, both 24 and 7 days. And obviously you have insider trader tokens such as this one, which I can't even pronounce. We also have Melania. But look at Dog Bitcoin, down only 4.8% in the past 24 hours, but still up 11% over the past 7 days. Notice that Dog has the highest gainer over the past 7 days. I do want to look into this, and this is why I want to congratulate everybody. So if you go over to Artemis, this is year-to-date time frame. So starting in January 1st up until today, January 15th. Notice something. Dog is the top gainer by fully diluted market capitalization. And the reason we want to bring up fully diluted market capitalization is because that's different from most of these other coins where the fully diluted market cap shows you the complete value of a specific token and not the reserve currencies that they have within the market. So sometimes you'll notice that I'm going to make an example. Say, for instance, one coin has 100 million tokens of fully diluted market cap, but in terms of token supply, they only have 90 million. So that means there's 10 million left over, which could be token allocations to marketing budgets, to team members, paying listing fees. So that's why we pay attention to Dog, which the entire distribution of the token supply is out there within the holders. So that's why it has the largest fully diluted market capitalization by tokens. This is absolutely amazing. You could even see it here. Right here is the number one meme coin, which is Dog, in the sector assets within blue chip meme coins, the top performer. That's why it's important to have 100% token distribution to holders, because it removes market makers from manipulating and artificially pumping your coin and dumping your coin on these centralized exchanges. So Dog doesn't have any of that, and that's absolutely amazing. Now, even though you see the pullback within Dog's price, well, guess what? Even if you go to Crypto Capital Ventures AI tool, bulls are still in full control, which is what we're seeing here. Even though we see this pullback, we're still in full control. And it really is replicating what we saw back over here. Remember, back over here, which I'm going to address in the charting analysis, we saw a massive pump, but also a massive dump. I think this was roughly a 30% drawdown, but we saw a massive pump afterwards. You see how that kind of trended upwards to a new all-time high at 999 million market cap. And I remember back on January 3rd when I actually posted the very first pump that we first saw in Dog. Well, we actually saw roughly 70 to 80% increase ever since then. So you can see that that was just roughly 11 to 14 days ago. Now, I want to give a shout out to Arjun Sethi, who is the CEO over at Kraken. Now, his words and his thoughts are absolutely reputable within the crypto industry. A lot of people take notice whatever Arjun says, such as senators like Cynthia Lummis or Tim Scott. But in this specific post, he talks about that he and Kraken are very supportive and also advancing the market structure bill, which is the Clarity Act, that helps define certain assets within certain jurisdictions if it's, regulatory oversight over the CFTC or the SEC. But we need clear market structure so that we can support digital assets such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, but also, like he says, yes, even meme coin assets such as DOG that millions of people already hold and trade. So he's been a dog bull since the very beginning. He's been a dog advocate since the very beginning. In fact, he brings up dog a lot. And so people will watch what he says on different news networks and different news channels because Kraken is really becoming one of the top exchanges in the United States. And they're becoming part of the more political stance on the crypto stance within the country. So they pay attention to what Arjun says, and most likely more people are going to see this specific post with dog in it. So I want to share with you some breaking news. So this morning I did some research and I found out from Binance Research. They released a report for the full year in 2025 and themes for 2026. So they noticed in 2025, the base layer of Bitcoin saw a little bit of a surge, meaning these were intermittent bursts within 2025 from fungible tokens such as Runes and BRC20 tokens. Now you can see that this blue section right here, these blue lines, is the surge in Runes. Now remember, when Runes came out in April 2024, absolutely captured roughly 50 to 75% of the Bitcoin transactions and network fees. But look at the surge of Bitcoin Runes coming back again. They're coming back in full force. This is an early sign that Bitcoin Runes are coming back in a heavy force. And as you've seen, based on the data with DOG on Artemis, that DOG is actually seeing more trading volume and more capitalization and inflows within that coin. That's why you see DOG in the top 20 and hasn't really moved to the upside or downside within the top 20 meme coins. So the reason this report is actually quite important, even though they're not speaking very positively, meaning they're not like advocating for Runes or BRC20s, they're actually more pointing out that these specific protocols are coming back and that they're capturing most of Bitcoin transactions, even though Bitcoin itself hasn't really seen much of a surge. Runes have taken notice by these research teams. So even though they're not really speaking positively about these protocols, it's because they shouldn't. The thing is, sometimes research teams like Fidelity, Binance Research, they don't really catch on to things really quickly. They only capture what they see in front of them. This is what people say about the Federal Reserve regarding, why aren't they cutting interest rates? Well, they're mainly focused on data. And so they're never going to be ahead of the curve. They only focus on what's happening right now. So to me, this is an early signal that Runes are coming back by far. And that's why you're seeing the trend happen on X, that Bitcoin Runes are capturing a lot of attention because of the Coinbase app. And that's why you're seeing holders like, say for instance, we have Bitcorn or Bitcornio Dog. They went onto the Coinbase app, typed in Dog, and again, they were able to buy Dog with ease. And again, they don't need a Coinbase wallet, as they said here. You just buy it directly. And this doesn't work for everybody. This is being slowly rolled out for people who own the Coinbase app around the world. So please be patient while this is rolling out for you if you haven't been able to see the Dex tab up top on top of your app. So someone pointed out something really important, which was this person, Aziz. Now he said that when he's typing in Dog Bitcoin doesn't immediately appear. In fact, you actually have to type in Dog Bitcoin for it to appear right away. Even for me, myself, when I type in Dog, I have to click on show more for Dog Bitcoin to appear. So I addressed this issue with the Coinbase support team. They said that not only are they following up with the Rune Labs, aka Mine Labs bridge wallet, which is the wallet that has 98% of the token supply on Solana, that is bridging Bitcoin L1 Dog over to Solana network, and to remove the flagging and any insider manipulation warnings. But also I mentioned to them about this issue, and they said, we also appreciate you bringing this UX issue up with the search bar. That's a great suggestion. They're going to make sure to pass this along with their team because they're always looking for ways to improve on the experience for their users. So they are going to work on that, and I look forward to this getting fixed. Now let's get into the nook and cranny of the video, which is the charting analysis. Now I mentioned over and over before that 160 million market cap is a resistance level, and that 150, by the way, the 150 million market cap is now the new support line. I wouldn't be surprised if we did break below that just for a little bit, but I'll talk about that in the next slide. Now, what we will notice is this price of dog. Now, this is the 50-day and 200-day moving average. Dog price is well above the 50-day moving average, and the 50-day moving average is curving upwards. So what we want to see, even though we saw a death cross back in September, is that we want to see the 50-day cross the 200-day. Because what will happen is that there will be a golden cross, and a golden cross at that specific section would be very bullish for dog Bitcoin, because dog is at a low price, meaning dog at this market cap is quite low, that if we see a golden cross, we most likely will surpass 200 to 500 million market cap within the next couple months. That's just my analysis over the dog chart. Now let's look into the dog price. As I mentioned before, over the past 14 days, ever since January 1st, dog price has surged up around 80%. Now, what can we expect in the dog price? Because we've seen some massive dips like what we're seeing right now. Now, as I mentioned before, we need to see these massive pullbacks, and we were expecting this. I mean, think about it. We met almost close to a top within the MACD, and that is actually very important. Now, the reason we saw this quick dip right around here is because when we went to the RSI, we got close to roughly around this specific section. As I mentioned before, this is usually when we have a top and then we need to have a slight pullback. And because we've been pumping so much over the past, like ever since like January 1st, we actually need large red candles like this. I mean, look at this red candle. This was a really large pullback. So when we look at price range, you can see that this recent pullback roughly around here was roughly 13%. Now let's look at the recent one. This recent pullback that we just saw was roughly around 12%. So when we look in the past, so dog price went roughly around here to 200 million market cap, went as high to roughly around like 600 million market cap. Look at this drawdown. This drawdown was roughly around 45%. So that's nothing to see what we see today. And then we saw what happened to the dog price. Dog price pumped massively to the upside. But look at this other dip, right? What if this pump right here is very similar to what we're seeing right here? Well, let's go ahead and look into the percentage of that. So from the top to the bottom, we roughly saw close to around 36% downside. That's really nothing. In this specific area, how far did we drop? When we first saw a massive pump, the first dump that we saw was roughly around 22%. So as you notice, the dog trend right now, the dog trend bounced off of this yellow trend line. So even though you're seeing the dog price dump around 10%, that's completely fine. It's probably catching up with the other meme coins, and this is completely normal. Remember, not too long ago, on January 1st, we were at 90 million market cap. So right now, we're not really at a loss. In fact, this is just following the exact same trend. It's bouncing off the support. Now, would it be surprised if we broke out of here and then we decided, you know, we're actually going to trade below 150 million market cap, and this would be a new resistance level? That could possibly happen. Or this could just be short term, where we do go to the downside, but we actually go back up, bounce right back here, and then trend upwards again, which is following this yellow support line. Or you could say that we actually do go back up, but we actually go back and forth within this wedge, aka this is the 150 million market cap support to 160 million market cap resistance, and we bounce out of that until we break out, or we break down. So this is why we do charting analysis, so that you don't have to worry about the price of dog. You can just focus on data and analytics. As you've seen, dog is the top performer. So regardless of what I'm seeing in the dog price, even though you see these sharp dips, remember, just over a month ago, we were very much to the downside. We're still up 26% just over the past month. So I'm not phased at all. And this is why I focus on data and remove my emotions. So with this said, I hope this video has been very helpful for you. The dog army still stands here today on an everyday basis, and I will continue to report on dog. And I look forward to talking to you more tomorrow. So smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and updates regarding Dog and Moon. Till then, see you guys girls next time.